today is to adopt the order of the agenda, and I will step down from the chair and move to amend the agenda by removing clerk's items number 1, discussion decision regarding fiscal year 24 claims batch number 7, $317,605.52, and demands in batch number 7, $468,505.72, totaling $786,111.24. And 2, action item discussion regarding EMS batch number 7, $15,432.97, and demands in EMS batch number 7, $2,476.57, totaling $17,909.54. And I would further postpone BOC items number 1 and 2 from Commissioner Williams for consideration because they did not include the written memorandum as passed as required by the standing rules of the Bonner County Board of Commissioners. Is there a second?
I second that.
There is a motion and a second on the floor to amend the order of the agenda. Is there any discussion amongst the board?
There is discussion. There is no requirement that you're stating. This particular items 1 and 2 have been requested by the community. On item number 1, with respect to archiving public records, you have received a legal opinion from our prosecuting attorney who has confirmed that not only can the board not require that he give his opinion in a certain manner, but that the email that he sent is appropriate. And the second item is also something the community has been waiting for. As we are entering into winter, we need to manage our property. I think that it's unreasonable for you to table my items if you don't want to pass them as directed by council. Their recommendation is that you not remove a sitting commissioner's items, but that you just vote in the line that doesn't allow it to pass. And so that is my request of you, so that we can at least have those who came to discuss those items have that item discussed, and then you make your decision known through your vote. So I would amend your motion to remove the items, and let's discuss the clerk's removal separate from Commissioner Williams' 2 items that are on this report, so that we can give due discussion for the public interest.
Is there a second? So for the record, Commissioner Williams, would you please state your amendment to the amendment on the floor?
I amend your motion to segregate Rosedale's items from my items so that we can appropriately address Rosedale's items. Although I don't have a note from Rosedale as to why, my assumption is these were discussed early in the last meeting due to the holiday, so we don't need to discuss those now. And that's reasonable for us to make a decision on. The other issue is reasonable to allow true discussion and public comment, especially since the community members who wanted those are online and in this room. Council has advised that it's not fair to the public for the board to publish an agenda and then take something off the agenda when some people come for those items on the agenda. And it's change it. So.
What?
Mr. Martin, can I implore you to mute yourself, sir? Happy New Year. Returning to the business meeting, is there a second? Hearing none, the amendment dies, but returning to the discussion on the amended motion, and I will read from 74-201 and the Open Meeting Law Manual. The people of the state of Idaho, in creating the instruments of government that serve them, do not yield their sovereignty to the agencies so created. Therefore, the legislature finds and declares that it is the policy of this state, and that the formation of public policy is public business and shall not be conducted in secret. At our last regularly scheduled Board of County Commissioner meetings, the Board of County Commissioners did pass a standing rule that requires the Board of Commissioners to act in the exact same manner as every other elected office and every department head that agendizes items. And the reason why is for transparency, so that the general public and so that this board has the ability to fully weigh in on the consideration and the merits of an agendized item. This was passed, and there is the standing rules, which is up front if there's any members of the public that are interested in knowing. but there is a BOCC meeting agenda submission procedure. And for this commissioner, it is only fair that the expectations of this board is the same that we put on our department heads, our employees, and the other elected officials. We do have a standing rule. We are not removing the items from the agenda. They are being postponed.
So what I'm going to point out is what I asked is that you segregate the two issues so that we could vote appropriately, so the appropriate discussion goes. What you just did was you discussed it using your position as the chair without allowing for that reasonable discussion. So my request again is that we address Clerk Rosedale's items and then have the discussion about the others. That's reasonable and appropriate, and you just identified that that's actually what you'd like to do. You'd like to have the discussion on what your decision is on removing my items. So would I. I'm just asking that your motion not contain both so that the meeting can be followed appropriately. So you didn't second it, but you still commented and you wanted to let it die, and that's not how it should work. And I'll remind you that Robert's Rules of Orders is not supposed to be used to marginalize the minority voice on the board. It's supposed to allow for discussion and deliberation. So I respectfully again request that you allow Rosedale's issues to be addressed separately from the BOCC items. There is no requirement that I have to submit a memorandum ahead of time or after. There has been no response to any of it. So let's address the issue that's present, not make your argument to justify what you're going to do now. So does the motion move forward to just address Rosedale's items and Commissioner Williams' items separately? If not, then it fails and then you're voting.
Commissioner Williams, your item failed. We returned back to the discussion based upon the original main motion that was put on the floor. According to the standing rules that have been adopted by this board in a legally agendized meeting that is in compliance with Idaho code, we are now past your opportunity to debate and my opportunity to debate, having spoken twice on this matter. Do you have anything to contribute, Commissioner Bradshaw, before proceeding to the vote?
No, that was pretty well stated.
I have a question for the chair. Are we no longer allowing the public to have comments, especially given that the two items under my side are community requests?
The public will not be commenting on agendized items, but I will address that following the adoption of the order of the agenda. Hearing no further discussion, roll call vote on the original amendment. For the
No.
yes.
Yes.
I now move. I will